All right, so you can't really see my face right now, but we're kind of doing well, I would say an unboxing, but I got impatient. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do in these situations when you get something and you want to make sure it's what it is. I didn't read that before I opened it. I was like, ooh, what is this? And sure enough, it's this. So we can just... So this is my new Tamron 17-70 f2.8 DI3-AVCRXD, whatever all that means. I'm assuming that DI is probably like a model number, 3 is probably the series, A is probably alpha because Sony. VC, I don't know what VC is. I'm gonna say vehicle, no, vertical calibration, RX. I don't know what any of this is. We'll look at the specs later. Anyways, so it comes with the instructions. I'm assuming that's what these are. It's the owner's manual in 50 different languages. So, and then, oh look, more languages. Espanol. I don't know what any of this means, nor do I really care. So, this is my new, come on, 17-70 Viltrox. Ooh, this is nice. I mean, as y'all can see, 17-70. Oh, that's good. Tamron, ooh, come on. 17-70, f2.8. Bunch of stuff that I don't know what it means. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Whoa, that was good. I almost dropped this. So lens cap on the front, lens cap on the back, lens shield. So, you know, however, oh, that was first try. Can't get that on this lens because metal lenses are something else. But here, now that we have this all done, maybe that wasn't a good idea. So let's turn this camera around so you can see my face again. Ooh, as I sit in my, ooh. This chair is gonna break on me. I'm calling it now. So as you can kind of see, welcome to my, what do we even call this? It's like a studio office / empty room. Really, I'm not that into this yet, but I wanted to show that there's the commitment. So if you think that I'm not committed to making this happen, to making this right here, this, I am, because I've dedicated an entire room to this. So we're gonna get sound, you don't care about that. That can be another video. Today, we're talking about this. I didn't put on product showcase. 1 second. So we're gonna pretend that I turned that on because I don't actually know. Did y'all hear that? I don't know where the setting is. We're just gonna roll with it. So anyway, it's just doing that. Don't stop, don't look at me. Look at this, there we go. Oh yeah, so beautiful. I need to get one of those like product display things so you guys can like really see this. I mean, heck, let's look at this. I mean, like, look at that. Oh, I don't know how that got in there. Like, look at that. I mean, here's that zoom. Ooh. This thing is sick. I love it. I mean, I say I love it. I just opened it. So how do I love it already? Anyway, I've seen a lot of other videos on this and it made me want to buy one. I mean, truly, like, if you saw this, you'd probably want to buy it too. So I got it so I could zoom in on my beautiful face. Oh, that's a weird motion. But yeah, so this is for the Sony E-mount. I film on a Sony a6700, which is what you're seeing in front of me. Coincidentally, this is a wide angle, 13mm to be specific, Viltrox lens. It's got a metal body. Maybe in another video, we'll kind of review this one now that I have a second lens that I can kind of show off. That's what we're filming on today. Obviously, you've probably known that because it's been up in this corner this whole time. But this is a great lens. It's a prime lens, no manual zoom. It's got an aperture ring, manual focus if you want it, but it does have autofocus, so I can like move like this or something. Or I can, there we go. Oh. I can do one of these professional rolling, like crop out my hands and that looks so good for an amateur. But this is it. This is the Tamron. So I don't really know what all this means, but I do. So here's what that means. So this lens, being a 17 to 70 millimeter, is for a crop sensor, an APS-C, which is what this camera is, the Sony a6700. So on a full frame camera, that kind of comes out to, 25 and a half to 105, because, 17 times 1.5 is 25 and a half. 70 times 1.5 is 105. I don't really understand the full frame to crop frame mathematics or why it's 1.5, but that's what it is. Don't ask me. I'm just here to talk about this. I'm not here to talk about numbers. I'm not a mathematician. But yeah, so next on that, it features a wide angle, which is that 17 mil, which is the, not this one, that one. That's wide, that's zoom. Wide, zoom. I mean, just look at how gradual that is. I mean, it sinks away. Ooh, we're getting too close. So you get the idea. This thing, as you've also noticed, is a f2.8, which means it is steady f2.8 through and through. So from 17 to 70, you can run this at f2.8, which is beautiful. It gives you a nice bokeh, kind of similar to this, really. I mean, this is a 1.4, this is a 2.8. It's not going to be identical, but it's going to be close. Like in most environments, you probably won't notice the difference, but in this case, you just might. The other thing about this, the front filter. So if any of you guys want to run this lens and you want to run a filter on it, so like a polarizer, an ND filter, a UV filter if you're weird, it's 67 millimeter, which coincidentally is also what this one is, which is part of the reason I bought both of these versus getting like the Sony variation of this, which we'll talk about in a second. It's perfect. I mean, you can swap filters without needing adapters and everything else. I personally think that's great. For those of us that care about dimensions because size matters, this is 4.7 inches long and it weighs approximately 18.5 ounces. Don't quote me on that one, but I'll put it up on the screen for the exact dimensions. The other thing, as I said, it does have a manual zoom. So, you do have that function right here. Can't see it. Oh, there you go. Now you can. So yeah, so manual zoom. It does also have autofocus, which is great. That's what I'll predominantly use because I'm an autofocus kind of guy. For video, autofocus is king. I mean, why not? Additionally, this has whatever VC means, but what I think it means is stabilization. It has internal stabilization, which is great because a lot of these crop camera, sensor, whatevers, they don't have stabilization. I'm lucky that the a6700 does. I came from a ZV-E10, which I talked about in my DJI RS4 video, which by the way, you can watch here. But I did talk about that that's the camera I came from, which has the active steady shot, but it gives you like a 40% crop, which it's not good. I mean, I don't know anyone that uses the active steady shot. I use just standard, whatever you call it on this one, the built-in stabilization, the gyro, whatever. This one has stabilization in it. I'm gonna struggle with not knowing what VC means. I wanna call it like vehicular crash, but that's not what it means. It means something else. So so I stand corrected. The VC on this, as it says right here, stands for vibration compensation, which is Tamron's fancy way of saying steady image stabilization. They could have said that. RXD, it means, correction, it doesn't mean something, it means rapid, extra, silent, stepping, drive. Say that 5 times fast. Rapid, extreme, silent step, rapid, extreme, stealth stepping, rapid, extreme, stealth stepping, drive, I'm never gonna get that. We're just gonna chalk it up to, I'm not smart enough. But anyways, the reason that you clicked on this is you wanna see what this actually looks like. So let's throw it on. So this is that 17 mil range. We're gonna bump up the ISO just a little bit because it's not that bright in here. So one second. Okay, so I think that's better. I wear a hat indoors. We're gonna work on lighting soon because that's a whole other thing. This is it. This is the 17 to 70. This is at the 17 mil wide angle. This is zoomed in. I do apologize for what happens next. That's halfway. Whoa. So it's a good thing that you cannot see my double chin because it's covered under all this. But yeah, so this is if you wanted to film at 70 millimeters, which you really don't. But if you did, you have that availability, which is kind of cool. So as you can kind of see, I'm gonna put up my other lens. The minimum focusing distance is 7.5 at this 17 millimeter depth. So, I mean, let's get closer. Let's get even closer. Oh, closer. Whoa. So this is, that's closer than 7.5 inches, and it works. Now, I never said it was good, but I said it worked. So, in all fairness, right? So, I mean, looking at the autofocus of this, I mean, you can see all the cool details of this lens. I mean, we're not looking at that lens. That's not what this video is. This video is the Tamron, not the Viltrox. Viltrox, guys, you need to wait for another week or two. Then we're gonna drop that video, but that's not today. Rewinding a little bit, obviously the price of this is roughly $700. At the time of purchase, I paid $699 plus shipping, handling, tax, all the other stuff that B&H charged. But you can also pick this up used on the used market, which is like Adorama, MVP, KEH, which I think stands for K? I don't know what that is. It's just KEH. So there are different websites that you can buy these lenses on secondhand. You can even buy them from like lensrentals.com. They do sell them secondhand. So if you want to pick up a used one versus a brand new one, like this one was, you could do that. You can save a little bit of money. I don't know what the exact is. I'd probably say like $650 to $670 is when I last looked, depending on like the condition, the quality. Like some of them had water underneath the lens, and I don't want that. I want a perfectly clear lens so that you can see my beautiful face, or not so beautiful. I'm not a model. I'm reviewing cameras after all. Because of that, it's 4.5 inches long. We talked about that. But the weight is the real thing. It's 18.5 ounces, which is quite heavy. That's a little over a pound. But because it's a 17 to 70, zoom lens, it's pretty light in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you can pick this up, as we're going to show in a little bit, and just walk around. And it's not the most uncomfortable, but it's not comfortable either. But that's because of the plastic body, which is also water resistant. So Tamron advertises this as moisture resistant or water resistant or whatever you want to call it. It's resistant to sand and dust and, well, moisture, but it's not waterproof. And I think that needs to be prefaced because I don't know who's going out into the rain and using this kind of lens, but maybe someone is. And if you are using this, be warned, it's not perfect, but it is pretty good. Additionally, that's contributed because of a fluorine coating, which my mind reads fluoride, which is what you rinse your mouth out with. But this is a fluorine coating they put on the lens in manufacturing, which gives it those properties to make it more hydrophobic. So I'm not going to be submerging this lens in this video because, quite honestly, I don't have $700 to I don't have enough subscribers to justify the damage. So we're not going to risk that. The aperture on this does range from f2.8 all the way to like an f16. You'll never catch me using anything above really like f8 on this specific lens because f2.8 is the reason I bought it. And it's because this one does not change the aperture as you zoom in, whereas its Sony counterpart, which is the 16 to 50, does. So that's a variable aperture, whereas this is a fixed aperture, which is great for people like me that want to zoom in and still have the nice, buttery, blurry background that you see behind me. So that takes us to our next segment where we're going to test this outside. All right, so this is at 17 millimeters on the lens using the vibration compensation that's actually built into this. Not doing any post-process stabilization. This is just going to be raw. Probably isn't a good representation because I have really shaky hands, which you're probably noticing because no offense, this isn't light. This lens is obnoxiously heavy, but this is it. I mean, it's pretty good in my opinion. I mean, then again, I haven't seen the footage, so I'm assuming it's good. I could be really wrong. So essentially, if you wanted to be a creep, you could zoom in. Holy cow, that was a bad idea. Yeah, we're gonna just leave that on the 17 mil function. But I mean, this is my arm stretched out. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall. I don't know what that means about my arms. I don't measure my arms, but this is kind of the distance. I mean, my main vlogging style lens is gonna be a 13 millimeter. It's a pretty wide shot, all things considered. I'm kind of looking at myself in the lens to make sure I'm still centered. Overall, I mean, it's not bad. The colors are great. There's a little bit of vignetting in this corner. I mean, even in that top corner. But this is with f2.8 aperture. I really like the bokeh, personally. Bokeh, bok, like the artist. Wow, this is heavy. We're switching hands. So, I mean, yeah, this is kind of what that looks like as I'm stepping, trying to avoid walking in dog feces because I have 2 large dogs, but it's not terrible. It's a good angle if you want to see my beautiful face for hours on end. So cranking the aperture to like an f8, at least that's what it says on my screen, makes the background obviously more prominent. Personally, if I was vlogging, then, you know, turning that down again so you can kind of see it in real time. Ooh, that's the wrong way. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? F3 2.8. So I mean, yeah, big difference. Nice blurry lens. Personally, that's my favorite look. I think that's the go-to vlogger look. But I mean, right now you're kind of in direct sunlight. It's not terrible. I'm two-handing this because it's so big. That's what she said. It's fairly stable, all things considered. I mean, this is just me kind of swaying, but it's not a bad look. It's not light. This is not the ideal vlogging look if I were to recommend a vlogging lens just because of the weight. I mean, maybe on a gimbal, like if you had a strap or something, then it would be worthwhile, but just as is, probably not. I mean, well, let's see what it looks like with stabilization. So trying this again from another angle, there's flies everywhere. What is with Florida and flies? I mean, come on. But this is kind of like walking uphill, steady shot on, seeing how it, you know, balances things out. If I had a microphone on top of this lens, or not lens, but camera body, it'd be just too heavy. So this is unrealistic. But in this setting, this is on my tripod, which obviously you can kind of tell that. I mean, my hands are in the air and I'm not holding you. What's with all the dog hair? Really? It's a good lens. I mean, here, let's bump this up a little bit. Whoa. I mean, I can stack back. Ooh, this is too tall. I'm on my tippy toes. Now I'm kind of like hunched over. I don't know what I was thinking. But see, okay, this is the cool perk about having the wireless mic is I'm back here. I'm probably, I don't know, 10, 12 feet away from the camera. And this is zoomed in all the way. So this is max zoom, which is great with this lens particularly because it does have the constant 2.8 aperture. So I mean, you can run it all the way up to like f16, but who's doing that? You're not buying a nice creamy lens like this to run it to f16. You're running it at f2.8 all the time. Or maybe you're not, because probably most professionals aren't doing this, but I'm not a professional. This is a good distance. I feel comfortable. I mean, like I could, you know, just walk around. You do like a nice little video all the way back here. I mean, granted, at this point, you'd probably want a longer lens, but you know, this isn't terrible. Wow, we really got to work on this incline method because just those few steps, I'm out of breath. This is a good lens. This is a great zoom lens. It's not a power zoom. I mean, we've already gone over that. It's a manual zoom. I mean, that works. And it does have the manual focus ring, which if you know me, and probably I'm going to regret saying this in the future, I'm probably just going to stick to autofocus because I'm too lazy to not use autofocus. But this is what it looks like outside. I mean, it's like 6:30, 6:45-ish, you know, kind of that quote unquote golden hour that photographers love to say. But I mean, it works. I like it. We're not gonna be zoomed in anymore. This isn't working for me. Something about being zoomed in versus like standing closer to the camera and having that wide shot, so much better. Like I like being able to see myself in the little viewfinder right here. Not you, right here. There's a little difference. This one. Am I pointing at you? Are there people in there? But look at this. I mean, look at how wide that is. I mean, this is 17 mil. I mean, I don't know. It's just me. But like, this is the perfect shot in my opinion. Maybe I would use this for like studio setup. But yeah, I mean, for a studio lens, this is probably perfect. You know, top-down shots or just setting it on a desk or even behind the desk, depending on your setup. This would be perfect because you can literally do everything. I mean, you can have a very zoomed in feature. So if you're, you know, zooming in on a product, I guess that's what we're talking about at this point. Then now you can zoom in directly on that. If you want to like vlog, you can zoom out. So maybe this is the most all-around lens. Me personally, this is my 2 cents. Having filmed this in a few parts, I like this lens. I think it is a good bang for the buck, you know. Is it kind of expensive? Yes. Are there cheaper options? Also, yes. Should I have probably tried out those other lenses before just saying that this was a great one? More than likely. And we're gonna do that at some point. But just in general, this is a great lens. Like, I love it so far. I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it. I mean, I've taken a few pictures just to try it out. I mean, I've dogs, so here's a picture of my dog. In general, it works. I like it. Not sure what else there is to say. I mean, it's a lens. I mean, it's pretty crystal clear. I've had a Sigma 16 in the past. I've got my Viltrox 13, which is like my primary lens. We're kind of at that part of the video where I say the thing and you do the thing. So if you liked what you saw today and you want to see more of it and you want to see my beautiful face and all of its zoomed in glory, I'm just telling you right now what to do. If I haven't made myself clear, like right here is where you click the subscribe button and you ring the bell. And then like right here is where you like it. Don't hit the dislike button that's like right here. Hit the like button. It's like right here. I'm kind of looking at the screen for perspective. You click the like button, then you click the subscribe, or in whichever order you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. And then below that, that's the comment box. I like reading those. I respond to every single one because there's like not that many of you, so I can still do it with ease. I mean, heck, I have a lot more followers on Instagram and I respond to every single comment there because I don't have a life. I'm getting there. We're working on it. We're working on it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Ooh, this is why did we zoom this in so far? Oh yeah, it was for the effect. If you like what you saw, thank you so much. This is obviously the Tamron 17 to 70 mil f2.8 lens, RXD, VC, ABCDEFG, all of the fun acronyms that I don't remember by the time of filming this, but I know I've said them previously in the video. And if I didn't, then they will be added in post because that's what I do. So again, if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much. Peace.